Yo, what's good? It's your boy Snapzilla Gorilla, aka The Definition. Welcome, freedom lovers, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom fighters. Welcome to the freedom movement, and welcome to Freedom's March, where every day we march ever so closer to freedom. Anyway, it is Sunday, September 17th of 2023, and we got overcast skies over here in Columbia, South Carolina. But you know, it's 70 degrees outside, not too warm, not too warm, not too cold. Beautiful day in terms of the temperature. I wish it were a little more sunny. It was sunny yesterday. Yesterday, me and the fam went to this Jubilee, African American Jubilee in downtown South Carolina, downtown Columbia. Really enjoyed ourselves. Anyway, a lot of black vendors, a lot of, they had the strip closed down where all the historical buildings were, and a lot of rich history, a lot of rich black history in the South, and I enjoy kicking it with that. You know what I mean? Kicking it with that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I just wanted to touch on this the meat-based hate that has been going on over the last few years. Now, really, the campaign started about, I want to say 50, 60 years ago, right? Where this guy, I forgot his name. What is his freaking name? He had the 7 countries where he did this study on, where he looked at the fat content or the fat consumption of these people and said how horrible it was and how it was causing, all these problems. And he really pushed a high sugar, low fat diet. You know what I'm saying? And this gave rise to a lot of the processed foods that are now sitting on the shelves in grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? It used to be where you go to the general store or whatever, your local market, and get all kind of whole foods. You get fruit, vegetables, meat. You know what I'm saying? And really, this is a war against whole foods in general, not just meat, against whole foods in general. They want you to consume all the processed foods that they want you to consume, particularly all the processed foods that have all the industrial seed oils. Now, this is where trans fat comes from. Trans fat, or hydrogenated oils. What does that mean when they hydrogenate oil? That means that add a hydrogen molecule to the whole makeup of that oil, right? So if the molecule has 2 or 3 hydrogen the hydrogen atoms, well, then they're going to add an extra one just to make sure that it can do what they needed to do, which is like an emulsifier, whatever they wanted to do. And this is horrible for your body, right? Horrible for the heart. But my question would be, do hydrogenated oils and all that, does that occur naturally in meat? No, it does not. Does that occur naturally in whole fruit? No, it does not. Does it even occur naturally in whole vegetables like leaves and roots? No, it does not. Right? Hydrogenated oils are not natural. Right? They take an oil that is basically they have to put it through this highly chemicalized process in order to get an oil out of it, right? Like a rapeseed, or which is where canola oil comes from, or all these industrial peanut oil, all these other oils that they have to put through this process. Soybean oil, right? They have to put it through this certain process in order for it to be an oil that they want it to be, right? And so they add deodorizers, they add all kind of things to it to make sure that it doesn't smell bad, because it will smell bad. Once you superheat it like that, they have to superheat this shit. They have to superheat the seeds and do all this shit just to make the oil come out, right? Just to get the oil. And it's just horrible, right? Why don't we have a campaign or a war against hydrogenated oils? Why do we not have a campaign or a fair campaign or a war against industrial seed oils, against high fructose corn syrup? You know what I'm saying? Just cutting shit with chemicals and shit like that, like it's fucking crack cocaine. Why don't we have a war against that? Because that's what they want you to consume to keep you sick. Why do they want you to be sick? Well, because the pharmaceutical industrial complex wants you to be sick. That's how they make their money. Well, why would they allow the pharmaceutical industry to keep you sick? Well, because these politicians, they get money from these goddamn pharmaceutical companies. The doctors, they get money from these pharmaceutical companies. That's why they create laws based around improving the bottom line for these goddamn pharmaceutical, from the pharmaceutical industry, the sugar industry, the high processed food industry, right? I was in Costco just now, man. Oh. Don't be hydroplaning, Snapzilla. Don't be hydroplaning now, pimp. We just had our first rain, so there's a lot of slick ground, but your boy can handle it. You know what I mean? I'm an expert driver. Anyway, because all these industries, they benefit from you being sick. They benefit from you consuming this garbage, right? They benefit. And look, this is what they want. This is what they want. They want you to live long and miserable. They want you to live long with low quality of life. They don't want you to die fast. The longer you live while being sick, the more money they get. My grandmother, right? My grandmother, she probably did consume a lot of this highly processed food, but she died at like 77, 78. And by all accounts, she shouldn't have lived past 55 or 60, right? Just because of her lifestyle, all the smoking, all this, that, and the third. But the medical industry kept her alive through medication. But she did not live well. She lived miserable, right? When I was 18 years old, I was like a caretaker to her when my mother was doing this, that. I think when I would visit from the army. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, she was in her 70s, alive, but her quality of life was low, right? And so this is what they want. They benefit when you are sick and you live a long life. And right now they're going after the meat industry because they can't do to meat what they do to all these other processed foods. Can they process meat with nitrates and nitrites and all that other shit? Sure, right? They can put some celery and some motherfucking bacon and make it do what it do, right? Oh, some celery, right? They go hard at processed meats, but a lot of processed meats don't have to be processed the way that they're processed, let's say by a big factory like Oscar Mayer or something like that, or Oscar Mayer or Jimmy Dean. You don't have to process your meat like that. You can make sausage with natural ingredients. You can make sausage with natural preservatives, like smoke. Y'all know that smoke is a preservative, right? When you smoke the meat, it's a preservative. It not only does it make it taste great, right? But it'll preserve it. You can smoke meat and let it sit during the winter, and you wouldn't even need like a refrigerator or a freezer. You could just put it in your basement or something like that, and the cold will help preserve it as well. But you wouldn't even need to do that. You can listen. But they want you to think that processed meat is the problem. When yes, it depends on what process they're doing to the meat. But when it comes to cereal, bread, right? All these full grain things, oatmeal, all this, that, and third. In order for it to make it do what it do, they have to put it through a highly chemical industrial process, highly industrialized process, right? A lot of chemicals in a factory. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy shit. And meat, one thing they don't want you to understand about meat is how nutritious meat is. Meat is highly nutritious, especially red meat. They demonize red meat. Oh, it causes high blood pressure. It causes heart attacks. It causes heart disease and this, that, and third. It blocks your arteries and shit. High cholesterol blocks your arteries. When they won't tell you that it's not the cholesterol that causes the arteries to be blocked on its own, right? It's oxidized cholesterol. And how does the cholesterol become oxidized? Well, when you consume these highly processed foods, like the industrial seed oils, with the industrial seed oils in it, with the hydrogenated oils, that will oxygenate your motherfucking cholesterol cells, or your cholesterol. And the cholesterol will oxidize and it will stick to the artery walls, and yeah, it'll clog your arteries. But the cholesterol did not cause the clog, right? It's whatever oxidized it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why antioxidants are important. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of things that you can consume that have antioxidants in it that don't come from fruit, right? Now, I'm not saying fruit is bad, but you also, fruit is good in my mind because I enjoy fruit. You see those bananas back behind me. I eat green bananas. The greener the better for me. I love green bananas because they don't have all that sugar, right? It hasn't been fermented down to just all this sugar content, right? If you eat a green banana, very good for you. It has the potassium and all that. Now, some people are sensitive to potassium, but the point is this: meat does not cause, there's no evidence, right? They'll tell you there's evidence. They'll give you all these they'll give you all these observational data where they will correlate high cholesterol with high blood pressure. They'll correlate high cholesterol with heart attacks, but then you have to consider all the other things involved with that, right? You have to consider, are they eating the standard American diet? Are they eating carnivore? Are they eating meat-based? Are they eating a lot of soy? Are they eating a lot of hydrogenated oils? Are they eating potato chips cooked in canola oil? Because canola oil, once fried, becomes a trans fat. Trans fat is bad. Trans fat causes oxidation of the cholesterols, right? And then the cholesterol, like I said, that's where the problem comes in. But they'll just tell you, oh, well, meat has cholesterol in it, especially red meat. Red meat, eggs, they'll demonize eggs, even though eggs are eggs is damn near, you eat some eggs, that's like a goddamn multivitamin, all right? The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is excellent in an egg. You eat the whole egg, and it's just like eating a multivitamin with good protein, good fats. You know what I'm saying? That, vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin K, D, all these different vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins. Many of the vitamins you need are fat-soluble. What does that mean? That means that you need fat. Fat makes it absorbable by the body, right? So these are things they won't tell you, right? They'll just tell you, oh, well, eggs have cholesterol in it, and that'll cause you to have a heart attack. That's not how that shit works. That's not how it works at all. And you also have to consider insulin sensitivity, right? Insulin sensitivity. Are you insulin sensitive? Meaning that your body is equipped to allow the insulin to do what it needs to do with the sugar and all that other shit. Insulin transports the sugar shit and all that other shit. It gets real scientific. I'm no goddamn doctor or scientist. Look it up. Look up what insulin does. If you're insulin sensitive, if you're metabolically healthy, you can eat eggs. You can eat meat. You can eat a goddamn ribeye, which is about 60% fat in terms of calories. Okay, 60% fat and the rest protein, something like that. Depends on the cut. It depends on the thickness of the ribeye. But you will not get heart disease from eating ribeyes every day, right? You just won't. If you eat ribeyes, eggs, a little bit of milk, this, that, and the third, some fruit, some whole fruit, you know what I'm saying, and all that type of shit. If you eat that type of shit with ribeye, you will not get heart disease. There is no evidence of that. Let's just say that. Let's just say there's no evidence. There's no scientific evidence to show that eating meat with other whole foods is going to be a problem. But if you eat a bunch of chips, if you eat a ribeye and let's say you eat a ribeye and you want to get a butter roll and you dip the butter roll and eat the butter roll and that butter roll is not, it doesn't have 3 or 4 ingredients. It has all these different ingredients. It has hydrogenated sea oil. It has alkali. All these other things that they put in the bread to make the bread do what they want it to do. Yeah, well, if you eat a bunch of bread with ribeye, yes, you're going to become insulin resistant. You're going to become more insulin resistant, right? You know what I'm saying? And these are the things that people don't talk about when they demonize meat. When they demonize meat, it's just about, oh, well, the meat itself, it'll give you this, that. No, that's not how that shit works. That's not how that shit works. What are they eating with the meat? Are you eating the standard American diet with all the crap, right? All the crap. I was just in Costco, like I said. And even processed foods are getting more and more expensive. More and more expensive. But don't let that shit be minimally processed, a few ingredients. The fewer ingredients, the more expensive it is, which don't make no sense, which means that all they have to do is take the thing that they're putting in the package, put a couple more things to it, and then just put it on the shelf. But with processed foods, they have to do more. They have to pay more in labor for these, and they have to pay for overhead for these factories and in these industrial plants to make this shit. So in my mind, it costs more money to make processed food than it does to put whole foods on the shelf. But you're paying more for whole food. You know what I'm saying? You're paying more for whole food, which is less labor intensive. Yes, if you're giving people whole food, you're not cutting it with all these chemicals. So yeah, you're going to have to give them more of that whole food than you would that processed food, because you're not putting fillers in it and all the other type of shit. But then you still have to put the fillers in it. Fillers cost money. And in the process that you go through to put the fillers in it, that costs money. It's labor intensive. But you're paying way more for that organic, minimally processed food. Because I'm not going to say there's processed food is a problem, because all food is processed before it gets into your body. Before you put it in your mouth, there's a process it goes through, right? Even those bananas back there, they went through the process of being damn picked. They went through the process of being boxed. They went through the process of being shipped. All food goes through a process. Unless you're going out in your backyard and you're picking that motherfucker off the tree yourself, it goes through a process, and even that's a process. So I'll just say minimally processed foods are more expensive than the heavily processed foods. Why is that? When the heavily processed foods are more labor intensive to bring about. More labor intensive. And they have to advertise it more because they want you to go out and buy that shit, right? Product placement, commercials, ads, all that type of shit. Do you ever see, there's this meat I like. I like getting my meat from this place called Agridine, right? Who has heard of Agridine? Anybody? Agridine is a company that gets meat from different local farmers, different regenerative farmers, and they ship it off to people that want to eat the meat, right? Who has heard of Agridine Farms? Now, mind you, Agridine Farms is not very expensive to me. You can get some good ground beef, some 80-20 ground beef for about $7 a pound. Not bad, right? You can get a ribeye. You can get a 6-ounce ribeye for like $10. You can get what is this? So let's say a 16-ounce ribeye, which is 1 pound. That's like $30. And then they have sales every now and then. But if you took that same a grass and it's grass fed. You took that same grass fed ribeye from Agridine and you put it on the, you put it in there in the goddamn Costco. It's gonna cost, instead of being 30 bucks, it's gonna be like 45 bucks. You understand what I'm saying? 45 bucks. And don't think Costco has their own shipping trucks, so they're not paying that much. They're not paying UPS to get it to their factories. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I have seen some cheaper grass-fed cuts at Costco. You know what I'm saying? I have seen, you can go to Costco and get some cheaper grass-fed cuts of ribeye, but you know, it's just crazy. My Popeyes order was 5 spicy piece, 2 butter biscuits, and a large Sprite. Very good. Very good there, Mike. That's excellent. Good shit. Good for you, man. The Friendly Outcast in the building. Shot Killings in the building. 22 Ronins in the building. Rashard Givens is in the building. Xander was good. I'm transitioning out of eating meat. Why? It's starting to make you feel sick suddenly. Well, good luck with that, brother. Happy birthday. Good luck with that veganism. What are you eating with? What else are you eating aside from meat? Because if you still feeling sick suddenly, that don't make no sense. And I don't know how you would associate that with meat. If you've been eating meat and you haven't been getting sick, and then suddenly you begin sick, you're blaming it on the meat. I don't understand where that's coming from. But yeah, no. I wouldn't advise anyone go vegan. What made you believe that meat made you sick? Now I don't even eat much chicken no more. I stick to like beef, and I feel great. I don't, I'll eat. I'll eat in the morning. I'll eat like half a pound of ground beef with like 2 eggs and some guacamole, and that does me right. Yeah, I mean, you go vegan, but there are a lot of essential nutrients that are only found in meat that you ain't gonna find in no vegan food, my friend. And if you start supplementing with vitamin B12, vitamin K, carnitine, all these other things that you're not gonna find in no vegetable, then you're not vegan. I work at a seafood restaurant. I get a lot of fried fish. And it happened earlier this year in April. I don't want sandwich meat. Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you, brother. But what are you eating aside from meat? Were you just eating meat? Were you carnivore? Or were you eating a lot of other processed shit? Because if you were just eating meat alone, and you can't really make that determination if you're eating other things than meat. But, more power to you, brother. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I had this homegirl. She said that she would get sick from eating meat. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that say that they want to stop eating meat, and that meat is doing this, that, and the third to them. But they're also eating fried chicken, fried in vegetable oils. They're eating potato chips. They're eating a bunch of bullshit along with it. I was eating fish, vegetables, salads. Okay, so there you go. You have vegetables, fresh vegetables. They would never feel me, and I've been cutting processed out of my diet consistently. I tell you, vegetables were making me sick, so I stopped eating them. Vegetables were making me sick. And when I got those things out of my diet, it felt a lot better. Because vegetables have, especially like green leafy vegetables and things like that, they have a lot of anti-nutrients in them. Especially if you're eating like seeds, seed oils, that's another thing you got to consider. Because if you're consuming meat with a bunch of seed oil and vegetables, yeah, you probably gonna get sick because it don't mix well. And that trans fat from the oil, from the seed oil, mixing with the meat, yeah, it's not gonna be good. How diligent are you about ensuring that you're not eating a bunch of processed food with that? And are you what kind of salad dressing are you eating? You eating the salads, green leafy vegetables again. Leaves have defense chemicals in them. So you only eat bread. What do you eat? My body feels better now. I'm simply eating with my body. What does that mean? You do eat some bread and things like brown rice. Hey, more power to you. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, brother. Some people, not everybody's going to be good on one diet. So some people do actually. Some people do great on a vegan diet. Some people do great on the vegan diet, especially if they do a raw. If they do like a raw vegan diet where they're eating a bunch of whole foods, they do great for a little bit. For a while, long term, they start noticing that they need certain nutrients and micronutrients in their body that they just can't get from vegetables, and they start having to supplement. So nope, the bananas are not right. Bananas contain a small amounts of radiation. Where'd you get that from? I don't know where that. Radiation from what? Where are the bananas getting this radiation from? I'm going to get a vegan cookbooks. We'll see with my body. A pescatarian. So you're still eating meat. Pescatarian is meat. You're still not going to get certain things from fish that you get from red meat. But it's better than vegan. Fish is better than vegan. If you're doing fine on the fish, on eating fish and stuff, and that's good. That's funny you say about this small amounts of radiation. Everything has small amounts of radiation in that regard. Like, because if the bananas are picking up radiation, the people that live near the bananas have to be getting the same radiation, right? I mean, I don't know what. Yeah, I try to do organic. I try to do grass-fed meat, all that good shit. Where am I from? I'm from Cali, but I live in South Carolina now. But what do I eat since I stopped vegetables? Meat and fruit. Meat and fruit. I'm not going to eat meat when I feel sick and I don't feel good after eating it. Bruh, I don't care, Xander. Don't eat meat. That's on you. Don't eat meat. Go ahead and do what you want to do, man. If you want to go vegan, you want to be pescatarian, more power to you. Do what works best for you. That's all I can say. You don't like fruit? Beef. I eat grass-fed ground beef. And I noticed that since I stopped eating vegetables, you know, and the less I ate processed foods, you know, the less brain fog I experience. You know, brain fog pretty much goes away. I believe my body is tired of all the American chemicals in food and the ONG. Hey, do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do, Xander. So now you're saying all American chemicals in food. Sound like you've been eating a lot of processed food, brother. If you've been eating processed foods for years and years and years, you're probably going to feel sick. And you know, you can say that is meat, but you know, 9 times out of 10, it's probably the chemicals that you're eating with the meat as well. So I don't know how you're cooking your food. I don't know what you're eating your food with. You cut it down. Good for you, man. That's good. Yeah, see, I cut out a lot of the processed foods out of my diet, but kept the meat, and I feel great. Feel much better than I did when I was eating all that processed food. And you know, you gotta eliminate shit methodically. Find out when you start feeling better, then try to reintroduce it. And if that shit makes you feel bad, then that's what you gotta cut out. And if meat makes you feel bad, you gotta cut it out. I'll do Miss Large pepperoni pizza with hot peppers, yeah. Now, you know, in peppers, a lot of the heat comes from the seeds. And the reason it's hot is because the plant doesn't want you to eat it. That's why it's hot. That's why it's, you know, people think it's, oh, look at the spicy food. No, that means that when it's hot, that means that the plant don't want you to eat it. And that's why it's painful to eat it. You know, that's pain when it's spicy and it burns your tongue and you're like, oh yeah, that's pain. And that's your mind telling you that you should not be doing the thing that you're doing to experience that pain. Anyway, guys, I gotta get out of here. Thought I'd touch on that real quick. But, you know, so you're not cooking all your meals for yourself. See, more and more is you're giving me more and more information that lets me know that it's probably not the meat that's making you sick, especially if you're not cooking it yourself. If you're not sourcing it yourself, you don't know where it's coming from, and you know, you don't know what they're cooking it with. If they're cooking it with industrial seed oils, if they're cooking it with this, that, and the third, and all, I mean, yeah. I cook most of my food myself. Or if I get my meals from somewhere, I know what they're cooking it with. And And I try to make sure that there's no industrial seed oils in there. They're using real butter. They're using real, like if there's olive oil, they're using actual real olive oil, because they'll cut olive oil too. They'll cut olive oil with chemicals. They'll cut avocado oil with chemicals. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is make your own food, and with as little ingredients as possible. Well, looks like it, Rashard Givens. Hey, I enjoy spicy food too. Anyway, I got to get out of here, guys. But, you know, just find out what works best for you. But they have done research studies that show that red meat causes the least amount of inflammation of any other food. Like, whether it be a vegetable, fruit, meat, red meat causes the least, and is the most, and the protein in red meat is the most bioavailable to the human body. And it contains all the essential amino acids that you need to build muscle. So do eggs. Eggs contain all the amino acids you need to build muscle as well. So, you know, just do the research, but do what's best for you, because everybody's going to try to give you this one size fits all diet. Oh, you got to eat this way, you got to eat that way, you got to eat this, that. No, fine. You have to do the research for yourself and really dive in to what you're eating and see, okay, does this work for me? Does that work for me? Because it's more than just saying, oh, well, you got to be real diligent about it. And it can take, it's a lot of work, you know. But anyway, much love, guys. I had months to test if meat makes me feel sick. Xander, I'm not telling you shit about how your body feel, man. I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you eat. You can eat tofu, you can eat what you want, bro. Like, I don't care. Don't care. I don't care what you eat, bro. Like, all I'm saying is, you're saying more and more things that make me believe that you don't really know what's making you sick, especially if you're not even making your own meals yet. That's all I'm saying. Yes, protein is very satiating. All right, guys. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.